What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Let me know if the music's too loud. Is the music too loud, or is it okay? Hey, what's up? How are you guys doing on this Saturday afternoon? It's not Hey, Juan, how are you doing? All right. Is the music too loud, or am I okay? Can you guys let me know if the music's too loud? If it is, I could just lower the volume. I mean, I'm lowering it on my end because I like to have music on the background, but cool. Right, okay, cool. So, for those of you who are new to this whole like coming back to streaming shenanigan, I do live stream on ZBrush Live as well. And last week we did a lot of like retopology, and we did a bunch of like, we went through our rock models and did a little bit of retopology on it. And today I was thinking that we should finish that, and I'm gonna show you guys some neat UV techniques in ZBrush and Maya, and then bring that into Painter and texture, right? And I prepared a little smart material made from scratch in Substance Painter. Jesus, where's the? Oh, there it is. Okay, I prepared a little bit of a smart material in Substance Painter, so you guys could just get to see the results of why you do this sort of like high to low poly baking, particularly for games. So we don't have to actually like build from scratch everything. So cool. Yeah, so this is where we left it last time. Again, that depends if you were here or not. Let me just grab my little coffee. Yeah. So those of you that remember, last time we did this basically, and not just this, but there was like a bunch of other methods for retopology. I did like ZBrush here. Actually, I think ZBrush was here, and then this was like decimation. I think decimation with UVs, right? So yeah, I tried to show almost everything, every method that I use, and how to combine both methods here. This was Z-Sphere retopology mixed in with some topology brush and Z-Modeler retopology. Okay, so in order to finish this, I'm gonna actually do a little bit of Z-Modeler topology, and I'm gonna bring that into Maya, and I'm gonna show you how to do the retopology the old school way, like I used to do before. And okay, so for Z-Modeler retopology, and I'm gonna go through this again next week on ZBrush Live anyway, because this is not supposed to be like purely ZBrush content, but at the same time, on ZBrush Live, I'm not restricted, but I don't feel like I should be, you know, like, it's a ZBrush stream, so it should be heavily centered around ZBrush, right? I can still show substance, etc., but it should be like heavily centered in ZBrush. So today I'm gonna try to speed things up and give you guys a little bit of a taste of the whole sort of process, right? So let's get to it. All right, Z-Modeler, it's BZT and my end. You don't have this by default. Just go to Lightbox, to Brush, and there's Z-Modeler brushes, and there's Z-Modeler Slice, Z-Modeler Topology. I just load them up as sort of like defaults, right? So, and I assign, you know, BZT, which is B for brush, Z for Z-Modeler, T for topology, right? And now I just go transparent, maybe ghost mode. No, not ghost mode, actually. This doesn't really work that well. And you can also just do a quick dynamic subdivision if you're having a hard time figuring out what's how does this stand on the surface. You see there, like you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. You go to dynamic subdivision, apply dynamic, reduce the smooth divisions, and just heighten the thickness. And this is non-destructive thickness, so this means that it actually isn't thick. It's just a flat plane, but it's a previewing thing, right? So it gives me a fair. I can even turn off transparency now, and just make sure that there's the least amount of these sections poking out on the mesh, right? So I try to use the tablet as well for this, even though it's very much like Maya, right? If you want to do this manually and you can't, for some reason you can't find the ZModeler topology, ZModeler topology brush is basically a ZModeler brush with a few predetermined settings on it. So BZM is ZModeler. They just basically go to the edge and tap space and hold and go to extrude on the edge. And you want to do edge loop because you want to alternate from edge to edge loop. And you want to snap to surface, right? And then you go to a face, tap spacebar and hold, and I want to do nothing because I don't want to do anything to the face, right? When I'm moving verts around and stuff. And on the points, I want to do move points, but I want to snap to surface. And this is literally what the ZModeler topology brush is like. You extrude faces, it snaps to the surface, nice. It's like, it's the closest you would get to something like quad draw in Maya, right? Unless you're not using Maya, and this is kind of mute, but yeah, you can see it sort of welds the verts together, which is great. I'm just doing some tweaks here. I just want to get something real quick so I can show you guys what I mean when I say that in games we do a little bit of a specific workflow. I know that's not really the case for a lot of what I usually do is when I go to ZModeler, I try to get ZModeler to get like an insert edge loop, and I try to do on the face I still do nothing, and actually on the face I want to delete because sometimes I want to delete single poly, and the move points could still be the same, so I could still insert an edge loop and move them so it snaps to the surface, right? So you can do this. Maybe you can turn on transparency sometimes just to check if everything's in place. Hello, Space Nerd. How you doing? Slow Saturday. Let me just switch my view visibility set to, I don't remember which one was it. Yeah, I think this was it. Yeah, you have like visibility sets which allow you to sort of isolate just 2 or 3 objects and then just switch between them, which is great. Right, so, whoops, BZT for ZModeler. I want to do maybe I want to weld these together like so, or maybe not. Maybe I want this to be like that, and it's supposed to be, yeah, this is weird because of the dynamic. I can do Shift D, there's no longer dynamic there. Just move this point over there. Transparency. And just go ahead and do this. I want to do maybe a little bit of an edge loop going up. So BZM. There we go. Snapping together. trying to get this to a certain point. I already figured out that we're gonna do a more realistic project next after this one, which is gonna be cool. Actually, this could easily be a triangle there. And this could easily be collapsed, like so. And here's why I have the delete poly there. So I can go over, whoops. This is why I usually do like topology brush from the start. I'm gonna actually do that. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna extract a new one by going BZT. No, BTP. Come on. There we go. I'm gonna do like this whole section just real quick. Come on. Just like so. And like so. This whole section, and then we just weld them together. And I want to go ahead and do something like that. And come on. Yeah, this is just weird. You should always do like cross them over from one side to the other. Never go like, you know, a continuous line if you're planning on adding verts there. Come on. My tablet is in need of repairs. Okay, so extending these out like so. And do we want to delete this one maybe and just extend this one? And we want to go like that. And you can always move that using the ZModeler topology brush, so I'm just gonna go real quick, because that's the whole point. The topology brush for me is usually just the Maya Quadra, basically, is how I tweak the model, the polygons to be more akin to what I want. There we go. So I can always push this up, push this side to side. There we go. You can also do something really cool, which is use ZRemesher and then use the topology brush to redirect and fix the ZRemesher. I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way because I'm old-fashioned. There we go. I think that was it, right? I don't remember. Yeah, so it connects there. So we're gonna go like that. And we're gonna go like this. And maybe just a single edge loop going down like that. This should be like a triangle. That's easy to do. And push this out. Push this out. Push this out. And we want to push this one and go and get that loop over there. So we want maybe like a few quads there. We can do it in the topology brush, you know, like so. But it isn't, you know, it isn't ideal, but it's fine. You still need to tweak that. Yeah, this tablet is annoying me. Okay, let me check my mesh. Yeah, I want to have who in here is going to the ZBrush Summit? Anyone going? If you guys feel like you want to meet up, if you're going to the ZBrush Summit, just let me know. I'll be there. Also, I'll link my Discord server I just opened. I just created a new Discord server so people from both streams, like from my personal stream and ZBrush Live, can interact and share their work and get feedback and we're gonna do some challenges in the future. I haven't really advertised that much, but I'm planning on doing that. And there's like a couple of voice channels. One of them is called UE5, but I'm probably gonna rename it Game Art, and the other is called Sculpting, and that's where the challenges will happen. So let me just grab that code right over here. If you want to join us, just go ahead and click that link on the chat and join us, and be sure to introduce yourself and share your work regardless of your level. That doesn't really matter. Just remember that everyone at some point was a beginner, even Michelangelo. So, you know, that's how it goes. This isn't really helping. These two quads over here. Maybe this one should extend there. This doesn't really help too. This doesn't really help. This actually yeah, it does. Ah, come on. See why I prefer to just do a broad thing and then just tweak it after the fact? Because otherwise you just get stuck being super nitpicky with this, and that's not really helpful. And for some reason this is no longer a quad, which is annoying to say the least. Let's see. There we go. We're gonna tweak that anyway. Alright, so the broad edge loops need to be there, right? So I'm gonna go and just do this loop here. What I usually do is I actually do them by loop. So I do this whole loop right here around it, and then do like loops around it basically. So let's do that here. In this case, I want to go over no transparency. That's probably one of the reasons this is kind of. I just go over like that and like this. Doesn't need to be perfect. You can always tweak it later down the line. And this is what I do basically. So I do the loop around that form, like so, in a way that if you insert an edge loop, you're inserting around that loop, right? So it's a little bit of a topological workflow. This is called a topology brush for a reason, right? So this is not actually connecting because this whole edge is kind of iffy. I'm just gonna go like so, and for some reason it's not a quad anymore, or it is, but it's hidden or something. No, it isn't. Just turn this off. It's not a quad. That is weird. Doesn't really matter though. I can still do it after the fact. So you can do something like, for example, like this. And now you no longer have, you can actually make this a quad. So now you no longer have like a triangle there. And this doesn't need to be, so I want to have this go like that. Something like that. This could be like that, and that could be a triangle. We're going to do Alt and clear out the loops. There we go. This is the problem, right? Because the edges, the curves are actually standing on the surface. So they're not actually connecting. But we can fix that. Let's go over and do something like that. Needs to connect down to that one. There we go. And now we can do this. And this can go away. Yeah, that's not a quad also. So we can do like a little bit of some looping there. Same thing here, going down from here to there. And this is why I prefer this method when you're starting out, because it's just so much faster. Just go. This would have taken me forever in any other method. I mean, just to get the overall looping. I can get a little bit distracted though, because this is already not just a loop. It's, you know, just go ahead and do all of these things. That's not a quad. For some reason this is still transparent, which is annoying. Now we do that edge loop over there. Push this down and like so. And now we can remove that edge there. Try to get this a little bit more precise, kinda. Right, and now you just do this. And then you do this. And you do the loop around this section, which doesn't need to be perfect again. It's all just pushing those edges. So, like so. This is a little confusing here. What the heck's going on? I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm just gonna call you Barak. Is that okay? I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem when you have a triangle or n-gon on a static mesh. Well, a triangle, it depends. Like if you're going to sculpt on it, then no triangles and no n-gons. N-gons is always a no-no, right? Never do an n-gon, right? Because you can't, what the engine does eventually is it triangulates it, right? But it's kind of random, right? So it randomly triangulates based on the closest point. And you don't want that because it might give you like very thin, very long triangles and some very broad triangles right next to them. And that's a problem for like normals and stuff. So you always want triangles or quads depending on what you want to do. For the final model, you're gonna have to triangulate it anyway. So it's easier for you to control the normal direction of the surface, right? For sculpting, you don't want either triangle or n-gons, right? You want to have everything quads and everything more like uniform quads, let's say. The quads need to be more uniform than, let's say, for a final model or something. So, I don't know if that answered your question. For static mesh, The static asset, I'm assuming you mean like the final mesh, right, for the game engine. That usually is triangles. You wanna triangulate everything before going into. Actually, you want to triangulate before baking, because that affects the bake, like the direction of the normals and direction of the edges when it triangulates. You don't want to leave that to chance when you're making the model, right? You don't want the engine or the computer to do that for you, because it usually is the case that's usually never perfect, like a perfect result, right? So you wanna keep that as controlled as possible. But endgun's never a good thing. I don't know if that answered your question. Hopefully it did. Go, we can actually push this over there and push this. Yeah, there's also like an extra loop that we might need around here for that to hold that line. This is not supposed to be an end gun. There we go. Yeah, so we got like the major loops. If we go back and look at what we have, yeah, we might just need like that section. That's fairly easy to do. I'm just gonna do it anyway, so I'm gonna go and do like this so I can separate where all my edges will end up. Oh, this is so annoying to have like a broken, not broken, but it's, the tablet is going fritz. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering why you bothered with one triangle when it's... Yeah, it's not the triangle itself, it's more the edge flow, right? You want to keep the edge flow kind of in a place. Not that this is going to deform, it's a static mesh, right? It's a static asset. But you still want to keep the edge flow under control, because you can, for example, hide the seams when you do the UVs, right? That's one example. The other example is if you do like some tiling noise, even if you have like a very good, well hidden seam, it's still a seam. So you want to have a lot of control on the UVs as well. That's the only concern you might need when it comes to like a static mesh. To be honest, I already have this as a low poly, but it's ugly. It's a decimated mesh with the UVs on, because that was for just a preview, right? And it works, but it's like, you know, as soon as I start bringing in some color breakup textures in Unreal or something, the illusion just goes away, because that's it just, because there's weird seams all over, you know. Not triangulation before bake. Why some people advise to not triangulate? HS? What do you mean by HS? Yeah, well, if you triangulate, that's destructive, right? Because you're triangulating, you can't go back if you want to change something. But what you usually do is you make a copy of the model before you triangulate, and you do the triangulation, and then you bake it, and that's it. The reason you want to triangulate is because, yeah, well, hard surface regardless, especially hard surface actually, because hard surface you have to have your smooth, like your normals, right, under control, like the direction of your normals really under control to get that nice looking surface on any angle, right? And as soon as you let the engine triangulate, you could get, like, for example, you have like these two quads right next to each other, maybe these two, and if you leave it to chance, the engine might give you like a line here and then a line here instead of being consistent, you know? So the normal direction is gonna get a little fucked, you know, but it's not a big deal, but it is something to keep in mind, especially when it's a very clean model that doesn't have a lot of, like, you know, surface variation to the normal map. Because if you have a lot of, like, roughness to the normal map, not roughness, but, you know, like irregularities in the normal map, that you can actually get away with that. Because when you're looking at the face, most of that detail is going to be the normal map. It's not going to be the normal. It's when the model is looking at it from the side, you know, when you're looking at the model from the side, when you start turning, that you can actually see some weirdness going on. But you can get away with it with, like, rocks and stuff. Maybe not, you know, stylized rocks, but more organic, realistic looking rocks. But if you're doing hard surface, there's not going to be a lot of, like, normal map details unless you're doing, you know, decals and stuff and bumps. You know, I mean, actual details on the surface change. You know, that there's not, that's going to be your actual model. So I would advise to triangulate and keep the normals under control, particularly for hard surface. But it's not a big deal if you don't. But it's just something, you know, that people do. I don't for this because it would take some time and it's not really that interesting for stream. You know, not that this is super interesting, you know, like for me it is, but it's like, it's one of those technical steps that a lot of people just hate because it's too technical. It's too, you know, it's something that people hope that AI will replace, you know, is to do, like, you know, surface normals and stuff like that. To be honest, I like being in control of the mesh and the optimization and all of that, because I am usually, well, in my day job at least, I am also one of the people that does the optimization for the scene. So I'm usually confronted with, you know, nasty meshes and nasty optimization done by other artists, you know. That's fine because most artists don't really need to know that stuff, because what really matters is, hey, thank you for the follow, man. Evac Trish. Oh yes, and rigging. Yeah, and rigging as well, right? If you want to do, like, but that's for deformation, right? Like meshes that deform, right? So if you want to have, like, a character, of course you need to keep in mind, like, topology is key, right? Unless it's just, you know, a statue that's not going to deform. But even so, it's really important to get the cool, the neat looking topology, because you're going to look at it from different angles, and that could mess up the silhouette or the normals, etc. So yeah. How you doing, Trish? Came across your stream and maybe I can help you out. Well, my Discord is already on the chat. I don't know if you can see the backlog, but yeah, I have people with for that too. But you can send your portfolio anyway. Let me just get the link again because it might not have come through. Let me see. There it is. All right. So back to that question. Yeah, like you want to have some control over over your topology regardless of the model, but of course, like if it's an organic character or something, you know, like you want to keep that a lot more into consideration, right? Again, I'm gonna do a little bit of a promo, maybe in a couple of weeks on stream, if I manage to get registration in for the ZBrush Summit, so you can all do a little bit of a contact exchange if you guys are going. Again, it's all about the Discord. If you have Discord, just join the Discord server, and we can talk there. And I am gonna do when I go, I am gonna do a little bit of some, you know, I'm gonna talk to people that are not there, you know, so I can share the experience. You can always do it online because ZBrush Summit's gonna be online anyway, like the previous years, but it's not just gonna be online. There's a lot of things that are exclusive to the in-person event, like workshops, like portfolio reviews, like meetups. It's gonna be awesome, and it's always great to see and interact with my American friends, considering that we're in the opposite side of the world, right? I'm in Europe, so it's always great to see some American faces. It's usually rare, right? Because it's on the other side of the world. So let's do the same thing we did before for this edge looping. This is going to be an edge loop going down. Invitation. There's no request on that Discord channel. On the Discord server, there's no request. It's just you join. That's it. There's no request. So let's go over, do this, get this done. Get this down the loop. Like that. Want to do a little loop there. Do a little loop there. Oops. Let me see what's going on here. I already had that loop there. Doesn't matter though. You can always replace it if you need. And this side as well. And I think we're done for that section. In the top we can always just close holes and that's it. Let me just clean up the topology just by holding Alt key and dragging outside one of those. Come on, it's not deleting that. There we go. Huh, that is a weird thing that's going on here. I'm just going to delete this. I'm afraid this might crash soon. It's getting too slow. Just do a quick save. There we go. What's going on with all these n-gons here? Jesus, what is that? It's doing transparency for some reason. This shouldn't be dynameshable. For some reason it is, so I'm gonna turn that off. giving me like weird points everywhere. Let me just clean up that mess. Just push this down like that. And push this up. And this is gonna go like that. You see, there's no problem with having a triangle there. It's just that it needs to fit sort of like the edge flow, right? And for some reason, that's also kind of weird there. That's okay. I mean, you can always merge that later. That doesn't really matter. Let me see if, yeah, so this is already done, that section. So we can just tie these together like that, like that. Get this triangle there. Come on. There we go. It's the brush size that's too small, actually. There we go. Do a little bit of connecting here. That's already done, I think. So, yeah, that section is already done, so I don't need to worry about that. Just about this one. That section. And for some reason it's not giving me, oh okay. Yeah, I didn't reach that endpoint. We can do a little triangle here. Like that. And this could be welded there, so that's fine. And this is still not a quad for some reason. Don't care. Huh. That's a weird curve there. There we go. And that doesn't really matter. Not caring too much about this. Whole section here. And there you go. For some reason it's giving me n-gon sometimes. Yeah, this tool isn't perfect. It's just great to get like very broad edge loops around. I don't need to care about this intersection here. All I need is to close the loops. Like so. Actually, let me do something like this. Get a little quad there. Push this down. This shouldn't be an n-gon there. There we go. Yeah, so now we can actually, with this, we can start already with so bring that mesh into the into our previous retopology mesh. So we go over, let me just close that one. So we go to our draw size down to 1 and click. And it's gonna give us this mesh. So, oops, I forgot to load. For some reason, it's not giving me the custom menu from the start. So, and this is basically split unmasked points under subtool. If you go to subtool, there's a split, and this is the same thing I did. So there's this mesh right here, and then there's this mesh. I already did this, but it doesn't matter. So if I merge these together, so I go down to merge down, okay. And now I need to figure out, all right, which parts do I want to keep? I want to keep this one. Maybe I don't want to keep all of the polygons, so I might as well just BZM, and I don't want this section here. So I can actually delete hidden. And I think I don't want this one here. So I want to delete hidden. And you can see this section was already done, so I might as well just delete this whole thing. Delete hidden. And then you just go over with a ZModeler brush and weld everything together. So maybe I don't like this section here. So I want to delete hidden. And now if I get out of solo mode, I get both, right? So I can go back to transparency, BZT, and I'm off to the races. BZM, insert an edge loop there. For some reason it's going up. Yeah, that's why topology matters. So this should go, yeah, it's this triangle there. So BZS is my ZModeler slice. So if I click here and click here, for example, and then I go to BZM and I want to delete this edge. So I want to, if I go over, click, alt click, it's going to delete the entire thing. So I don't want that. I want to delete a single edge. And now let me uncrease all. If I go over and insert an edge loop here, whoops, it's not. Yeah, it is actually creating a mesh. So BZT, raise the draw size and move this a little bit so it snaps. So I want to move this. Up. Yeah, this is not the perfect mesh, definitely. For some reason, my brush is giving me some issues. Build that. Yeah, let me go to ghost mode. I think that's the main problem. Yeah, there we go. And BZM, BZT. Need another extra edge loop there. BZM, BZT. Get there. This could be a triangle, to be honest. So we could actually weld these all together. Weld these together. And then EZT. Yeah, so get a little triangle there, that's fine. And this whole part needs another edge loop. Somewhere like there. So as long as you're getting the overall edge flow, because we're gonna make the UVs, that's I think the key to this. Is we want to make some UVs with controlled seams, and then we can decimate it anyway. So might as well just do the entire thing. BZT for Z-modeler topology. You can go ahead and snap those two together. Whoops. This could go a little bit like that. Huh, there's some intersections here that I'm not really fond of. Let me just go ahead and maybe clean this up a little bit. EZM. And delete this whole thing. And we can go now and do BZT and just snap that. Snap that, and give it a little wiggle here. There we go. Together. There's some extra polys here. Maybe these ones are at fault. Just delete that one. And actually, yeah, let's go back. I don't want to merge those two together. I want to actually delete these. Whoops. Delete these. There we go. And this is gonna go, whoops, BZT. And this is gonna go ghost mode. Size too small. See this that's happening, this lag? That's a tablet. So here it's fine, and now it's fine. You see, I'm with a mouse now and it's fine. So there's something wrong with my tablet settings probably. But the actual tablet itself has been a pain lately. So let me get this out of the way because this is not correctly modeled, let's say. then just push them down like so. Whoops. So we don't really care about this anyway. Gonna decimate that. Actually, I do care about this one though. Whoops. Delete. Because this is gonna be a little pickle. Can actually weld these two together, and then we get a quad there. Oops. Yeah, this is an issue. This is going to be an issue. So BZS, click this point, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Some triangles there, it doesn't really matter. And BZT. Snap. And now BZM, I have a delete edge instruction here. Just delete those edges. There we go. Yep, that kind of works. This edge though is kind of useless. This one. Might as well delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, and then just bridge those. Bridge edges, bridge that one with that one, that one with that one. Whoops. There we go. Actually, I could use some polys here. So BZS. BZT. Move this down. This topology is not perfect though, but I don't really mind. It's gonna be decimated at the end with the QQVs. So if you're doing like modular kits, I feel like decimation kind of works better when it comes to doing, like, you do your tileable textures or trim sheets, right, and then you decimate. You actually have a model like in Maya or something, you lay out the UVs on top of the trim sheet, and then you can use the displacement map feature in ZBrush to deform the mesh based on the trim sheet's height map or whatever. And then you kind of have like a displaced mesh with a lot of detail that still fits the texture, which is cool. Whoops. And this should be close, so I could just close this. There we go. It's already looping the playlist, so I just go here. Let's try this one. Right, we need to connect these polys here. Can't you delete that? What's going on there? Okay. Yes, this was the point, right? And now to close this is gonna be a little bit of a pain though. Let me try something. Click here, click here, click here. And BZM, delete this edge, BZT. So I'm always alternating between ZBrush, ZModeler Slice, ZModeler Topology, and ZModeler. That's how I do my ZModeler topology. I have all three brushes working for me, not against me. So if I need to move something but I don't want to snap, for example, I set my regular ZModeler brush to do that, and then I don't need to worry snapping those verts. We can also just go over and do a project real quick. Just do project, no color, project all. It's gonna snap basically everything to the surface, and that might help. So move points over there. This is whoa, this is gonna be weird. You know what? I don't really care about this whole thing. Over here, whoops. And there we go. We might need an extra polygon there. Ghost mode. And this is going down here. Extrude. There we go. This is going to be extruded there. This was the other section that I told you guys that I would fix on ZModeler. This is exactly what I mean, because you can move to a very specific location, move the polys, so that kind of helps. There we go. Something like this, keep the silhouette a little bit more intact. You might need something else here. There we go, perfect. There's some extra edging that we could do here. Like that. So now we go to BZT and we move this. There's our ghost mode working against us. For us, actually. That crevice in there. You just need something to affect the silhouette, right? You don't need to be perfect. Gotta chill there. Thought it was gonna crash. Go. Whoops. Move that here. Move that there. Actually, we can. Well, these. That one. And that one. So you see that issue right there? That's what I was telling you, right? See that issue because the polygon's kind of, you know, it's trying to flip. So in this case, you might actually want to help it out and get an actual triangle there. And you can see now there's no more issues with that normal. It's kind of, hey, I don't know where the normal is facing, you know. That's one of those instances where it would give me a little bit of trouble. Like that, and then this should actually be there. This should be a triangle, and the rest is history. And another triangle here. Actually, this could be closed then. Moving this over there. Maybe an extra polygon here. Yeah, but not everywhere. We're gonna do a little bit of this in Maya, just so you guys see what I mean. Oops. In Maya you have a lot more control, I would say, because you have like your UV tools are way more easy. They're easier to control, right? So when you're doing stuff like this, it's easier to check if there's something wrong with the UV. So I just want to get this to a point where it's it gives me like a broad UV. And let's do Z slice. There we go. There we go. Let's do a project real quick. There we go. Try to snap these together. This actually doesn't need to be there. There. I can actually bridge this. Bridge this with this. And this with this. Now I can move that topology. And we're almost done, as you can see. One of the cool things then is that I can even just paint a polygroup and do UV master, run the UV master with the polygroup. I don't even need to use like the UV mapping features, the new ones, because this is such a low poly mesh that we can easily just get away with some UV master polygroup thingy. Why is this not snapping? In this case, I'm just gonna go stitch. Nothing really going on over there. Might need a little bit of some tolerance and substance, right? This could be having a little bit better edge flow here, so slice, slice that to have a little bit of an extra dent in there. Come on, ghost mode. Going there. Go, maybe another. Gonna have a little pull there. It's usually not a good idea, but so I want one there, one there, one there, one there. Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with my tablet. For some reason, the tablet itself is not working. Let me see. something wrong on my drivers. Don't matter. For what I am doing, it doesn't really matter. I'm not sculpting, so. Right, so now we might need an extra loop there. Move this up there. And this one there. And we can get this one to snap over here. And we can get this one to snap there if we had an edge over there. So see, slice. I love the slice brush though. You can see what it's doing. Okay, so this is gonna go like that. There's a little bit of a dent in there, which I didn't include. There's a lot of geometry missing here, so I might as well just go ZModeler, insert an entire edge loop, just insert it there, and then insert another one there, and maybe another one here. Then I can go ZBrush topology, ZModeler topology, and these can be merged down. Whoops. But not these ones. There we go. Now I can see what's going on over here. Need a little bit of a extra height over there, so might as well just do something like that. And there you go. Whoops. It can actually be a triangle though. Like that. This can snap. I mean, as long as you get something there that's like part of the silhouette, and you're fine. And now we want to close this off. At the end we do like a well points, and it just makes sure that there's no like weird, you know, overlapping geometry anywhere. So we might as well just do, whoops. There we go. Kind of dark. Let's see. Let me get my lights to work. Yeah, it's not that sunny today here in Portugal. At least in Porto, you know. Well, might as well just do my setup as if I was streaming during the night. go. Actually, no. Actually, I wanna. This has no reason for being there. And then we can do a slice. And BZT. And this can go over there. It's gonna be all like, you know, normal map over there. It doesn't really, well, there's a little bit of some weird, like a weird gap there. Well, we can do that, it doesn't matter. It's Unreal, we can take everything into Unreal and then just go a little crazy. And the same thing goes for this. Actually, I feel I need a little bit of an extra edge loop there. BZS. And I want to have that extra edge, that extra edge, that extra edge. There you go. Let's project, just because I'm lazy. Let me go over to ZModeler so I can delete this. Oops. ZT. Yeah, there's some weirdness going on over there, but I mean, it's not gonna be noticed anyway. It's never. First of all, we have to think of the environment itself. It's not gonna be like a first-person shooter, you know, kind of environment. It's gonna be a diorama. So for that, we don't even need the. We don't even need the extra. That extra detail. Like you can get away with it because it's going to be seen from far away. I just want to make sure that we're getting all of this. So now BZT, this can go over there. Then we have like a little pole there. Yeah, BZS. See, my tablet is going crazy. There we go. Yeah, snap. You can actually delete this one. Triangulate that area. little bit. Let's risk it. Shall we risk it? Let me see. I'm gonna risk it though. Yeah. It's okay, so let's get back to this bridge. You know, the cool thing about ZModeler topology is that we can just go and just do weirdness over here. We can actually even go one step further when it comes to like being dirty on our topology. And we can close the hole actually. And do here like close, and this really doesn't matter. So I could still just go over and do like a loop here, just to be sure that it doesn't, you know, affect that edge flow and the normals. Something like that, something like that. There's also this. There we go. Yeah, I want to have this this section here. This could be a triangle. And now we can keep going with this flow. Huh. What the heck is that? Oh, why is it snapping there? That's strange. Ah, there's a weird little polygon there. Let's be careful about those. So I want to do, whoops, something like this, so it goes around that loop. We don't want to make it like into a grid pattern. We can do something like that. And this goes to the corner over there. And now we can actually get this back onto the track of, get this back into that flow over there, because otherwise we're just gonna keep going into a spiral. So, we could do BZS and slice this, whoops, slice this like so. And now we can extrude this over here. And ideally this would be a quad, so we're gonna move this over there. So now we have that loop there going on. Problem is now that we lose that sort of that density there, that geometry that we needed. So we can always just go here and do this, make this loop a little bit thinner, like so, and then just add an extra edge loop there. Let me just finish off this section here, and BZM, and we're going to insert an edge loop there. There we go. And now we can even use this to our advantage over here. Can close that after the fact. All right. So I'm going to just close this hole and I'm going to make the UVs and we're going to texture right real quick. So this could be welded over there. And this could be welded too, maybe? Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, so this could be... I'm gonna push this there, BZS. And we're gonna make this point over there. Oh, need to turn on ghost mode. So this point over there. That's perfect. And we can move these points in place. Like that. And this could be there. There we go. This is not welding nicely here. There we go. Some weirdness over there. Maybe we need an extra loop for that section. Yeah, we definitely need an extra loop there. Might as well just do this and just add the slice. There we go. And move this. Whoops. There we go. Gonna close these holes here. Close concave holes. This doesn't really matter. Might as well just make these the same poly group. Right. There's also something here. This could actually be welded over there. And BZM and close concave holes. And now same poly group. And we can actually, well, maybe after we extrude this, because we want to get that section there. We're going to get some of that height. Yeah, might as well just add another. There you go. Let's just project. And there we go. This section here is a little weird. Maybe I'm gonna delete that poly. Ah, where's delete? There it is. Ah, it's not in ghost mode. Need to slice that like so. Push this up. And then we want to extrude some edges. You know, get away with this maybe. Maybe not here. Slice. And slice that up. Move those verts. Yeah, maybe now. And there we go. All right, and now we can close this. So BZM, close concave holes. There we go. Let's see if this kind of fits there. Yeah. weirdness going on over here, but you can, even after it's triangulated, it's easier to actually move this. Just go over here, click one of those and tap so it snaps. That's also a thing that you should do, because it's gonna, when you close the holes, it's gonna give you like a flat closing, you know, like it's basically like fill hole in Maya, so it's basically flat and then triangulates everything. And same thing goes for here, but here we're gonna do a little bit, like just finish this loop over here. Whoops. And finish that loop. Ah, come on. Yeah, there we go. And something like that. This should be a small little triangle there. And finish this loop over here. Get a little triangle there. And this doesn't need to be perfect, this section over here. We're never gonna see it anyway. So we can just get away with something like this and this. And then just have it triangulate everything. BZM, close hole. And there we go. Same thing here, close hole. And here's the cool thing, since it has a little bit of triangles, if we do like the ZModeler topology brush and move it a little bit, there's enough, just enough density, so you can BZM, close hole, and then BZT, and move this a little bit. Just wiggle them around a little bit. Same thing goes for here, actually. There we go. I think we're almost done, and we are gonna bake. So just finish this loop over here. Over here that shouldn't happen. Completely forgot about this section here. So this could be closed, and this as well. I might just weld these into triangles there. There we go. Same thing goes for here. We want to have something like that. It's like a little triangle. And BZS, and we want to click this one and this one. Now BZT and weld these together. And there we go. So let me take a look at this. Okay, there's a little hole there that I forgot. This would benefit from just a nice slice here. Like a triangle there. Whenever there's like pinch, like stretching, this hole over there. Give me a second, guys. That is weird. Whatever. Okay, so this doesn't make sense when it comes to polygroups. It's important to keep polygroups under control, particularly for the next stage. Close this hole for the UV, right? The UVs. Actually, I can just borrow this and just paint polygroup like so. And paint it like that. And paint it like that. And like that. And there's also a little bit weirdness. Let me go to ZModeler, increase all, see if it's smoothing with the dynamic subdivision. This is a great way to find out, you know, if there's like stuff like this going on. So ZModeler, delete this edge, delete that edge, delete that edge maybe, and the ZModeler slice, and then ZBrush topology, ZModeler topology, and this as well. I can actually close this real quick, or maybe use the slice again. Slice this until there. Topology, move it a little bit, and then just extrude and snap. And now we can kind of close the deal here. Just painting the polygroups where I want my base seams to be. So something like that, for example, would be ideal. Something like that. You know, you can always tweak this later. I'm just gonna run a close holes on this, and it's gonna close everything that's not currently closed. So yeah, so that there, for example, we might want to have the seam over there. Actually, the seam should be over here. Because this is not like perfect topology, otherwise we would use the actual UV mapping tools. This, for example, could be redirected. We could do maybe a loop over there. Yeah, we could redirect this, you know. that. It's gonna give me a weird polygon there. Does it really matter though? I just want to have a way to sort of cut the edges. And over here too. Maybe I want to have this. It's gonna give me cuts anyway, like automatic cuts if I run a UV master on this. I might as well just run one just to see what it gives me, and then just figure out if I can go with it. So, but let's just speed things up. I'm going to show you like the actual workflow from ZBrush to Substance. So this is our low poly of that version right there of our high poly sculpt. So it's this and this, right? You can see there's some changes, but on the silhouette, that's the most important thing. Nothing changed. Well, there's a little bit of a change there. We can easily fix that. If we go to the side, almost nothing changes, right? And on this side, well, there's a little bit of a change there. That's kind of a heavy one. Yeah, it's not perfect. We would need to add some extra geometry over here. That's definitely the issue right there. The rest is fine. You can see nothing changes from this angle, but from this angle, it's going to change. See that? That's an issue. So let's just go do that real quick, because that's probably going to be a problem. See that? That's a problem. BZT and BZS. And back this way. And now BZT, and we're going to move this up. And we're going to move this up too. And this, whoops, this can move here, and here, and here. There's also a little problem over there. So BZS, click this one, click that one, and BZT, and snap those together. So I get something like that. You know, it doesn't need to be like, you know, all perfect topology. Like triangles, as we were talking about previously, are not an issue unless they compromise your UVs, right? Yeah, this is supposed to be, if you watch the ZBrush live from last week, I did all the methods, ZRemesher, etc. And I did one of those for that other one. So I'm supposed to go through all three methods and just show you guys. That's more for demonstration purposes, but yeah. Like for something that's static, I would definitely go ZRemesh and then project and do all the shenanigans. So, for example, this was ZRemesher. And this is the high poly, low poly. But it's still not perfect. You can see there's some variations there to the silhouette, which is not a good thing for, you see that? That is an issue right there. Because that's something, it's very hard to control using ZRemesher. But overall, it's a good result, but it's not keeping the silhouette perfectly, right? So that's one of the reasons. But then there's like this one, for example, which was actual, well, ZRemesh and then project. And then you just keep Z-remeshing and projecting and doing the UVs, and that's it. But yeah, I wanted to get like a nice, a nicer, let's say, flow and keep it a little bit more consistent when it comes to getting the topology done. For example, this makes no sense. This could easily be simplified over there. Like that. That doesn't need to be there. So it doesn't compromise the silhouette in any shape or form. You can see that. Right. Cool. So let me run just a quick UV master. Let me quick save first, because you never know. And go to Z plugin polygroups using the UV master polygroups and just unwrap. Let's just do quick unwrap and let's check it. Okay, so this might be an issue. Let me just mask this so I know where it is. It's that. Yeah. I need something to cut over here. And this is the cool thing about it. Let's just do a crease PG. So this is where the seams are gonna be. And then let's go to Z modeler. And in this case I'm gonna go to a point. I'm gonna do crease shortest path. And I can manually tweak the creasing. And then I can use that crease to cut the UVs. So I'm gonna go over here, over here, over there, and then just cut it like so. It's not really hidden, but I mean it's impossible to hide perfectly all of the seams. We can hide it in the texture, actually. I prefer, if I do a tiling texture, to have the seams where I know there's going to be like some edge detail on the texture, than having it somewhere in the middle of like a side face of the rock, because that's going to be pretty noticeable, especially if the tiling texture is not perfectly tiled. Let me just uncrease, crease edge, uncrease this, uncrease that, uncrease that, and that. Okay, so now we're talking. One other thing that we can do is we can actually cut this whole section from the side. So basically we can do, whoa, what's going on over there? There's some weirdness going on here. Yeah. Just gonna move that snap there. Yeah. So it fixes that. Silhouette is not perfect here. Might as well do another slice over there. The problem with the slice is it's gonna crease, but I can tell it not to crease and do not crease, and there it is. So click here and click here. There we go. Now PVCT, and let's make it snap a little bit more. Whoops. Okay. What the? Yeah, there we go. Come on. Yeah, this really is not a big problem. As long as we push this like that. Like that. Okay. Let's go and try again. This time I'm gonna go and do the same thing over here. So I'm gonna paint polygroup on the top faces and have those be like separate in the shells. So, and now crease PG. And we can now go over here, down here to UV map. And in the UV map, we can reduce this bump to 0, project, unwrap, creased edges, no symmetry, unwrap. And now if we morph, we get more islands. And we can do an auto groups here. Oh, Jesus, what the heck's going on? Yeah, the morph UVs is not. It's not like the auto. Ah, okay. I need to cut these seams over here as well. Crease shortest path. There's some weirdness going on over there. Yeah. Uncrease all of this. And crease those side polygons. Like that. There we go. Alright, so now let's do the same thing again. Oh, it's gonna crash. Don't tell me it's gonna crash. Thank God I did a quick save. Let's give it a sec. Yeah, this is gonna crash. Nope. I'm gonna wait for it a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna close and reopen the quick save. Any of you guys been playing Baldur's Gate 3? I've been playing it like crazy. So that's why I'm leaning more towards like doing the more realistic kind of fantasy, you know? Because it's like that's what I'm playing currently, and I usually do stuff based on what I'm playing. So let's see. Yeah, but you get the point, right? So I could easily just go over and cut this like from side to side, like so. Just have this separated right over here, like so. And actually separate this whole section over here. So I can do like, for example, polygroup, polyloop. And you know that the topology is not great when this happens. So we can do something like this, paint this whole section. There's weirdness going on over here. Stitch. And whoops. And just paint this whole section over here. Same thing goes for this. And now we can, let's uncrease all, and now crease PG, which is going to crease on the sections here. And now I can do crease shortest path, and I'm going to do this section again. There we go. And here as well. So spacebar to reset. Oh, there's also this, which shouldn't be. Yeah, this shouldn't be creased. Shortest path, and I'm gonna crease this entire top section. This entire top section is gonna get creased. There we go. And this as well, for some reason it didn't save this section, but it can easily just crease PG and that's it. Something like that, and now crease PG. And now let's go to UV map, projection, not projection, sorry. Crease the edges, unwrap, and now morphing it will give us a better look. Unmorph. And this is still weird, so we need another cut over there, something like this, and like this, like over here on this side plane. Can actually stitch this. Not gonna affect the topology too much. And now we get another shell. Right, crease PG. We get a lot of creases here. A lot of seams, let's say. For example, we could get away with something like this, uncrease this edge, uncrease that edge, and now crease PG. And now unwrap and morph UVs. And we're gonna get a cleaner, flatter result over there, over there. Of course, these are not perfect, but let's just roll with it for now. So now what I want to do, I'm going to go and export this, and I usually export as an FBX. So I'm going to zplug in FBX export import selected. So only the subtools that are selected are going to get exported. I export this, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, rock low underscore low. And now the high poly, I'm gonna go over here. Let me just fix, there was a couple of issues here that I wanted to fix real quick. Yeah, that's what I usually do. I don't do quad draw. I do this after ZBrush, which is quick, right? But not in this case. I want to go and do the ZBrush thing. See that? That's an issue. Just smooth that out for now. There we go. Okay, so, and we're gonna export this one as well. So export selected. I'm gonna call it the same thing but low. I know the naming is not important in this case because it's just one rock. But yeah, you're right. Like quad draw can be fast, but there's certain things that quad draw can't do that topology brush does, for example, or that that ZBrush does. If you want to re-ZBrush the whole thing, you know. So what especially with such complex like variations here, it can be kind of time-consuming. Let's say that workflow. So what I usually do is I run it through ZBrush and then use ZModeler topology to tweak things, like you would in quad draw, because that's basically the same thing. Topology brush, I usually use it for more like organic kind of rocks, you know, if they're sort of like roundish in nature. That's what I usually use. Right, so now let's go over to our little buddy here, Substance Painter. There we go. And for some reason I forgot to copy this. There I am. And there we go. There it is. Okay. Let's grab that rock low. Here's the thing. Usually there's a pass through Maya where I usually go in, bring in the mesh, and pack the UVs correctly. Just rotate the shells and stuff like that, and do the textile density thing. But in this case, we're not concerned with that for now. We're gonna be concerned about that when we get all the rocks, and then we have scaling issues and all of that, and the modular kit as well. And Maya takes forever to load. I can just start and then re-import that. There it is. I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna save the project. Stream might do a little hiccup. Not really, actually. Okay, so this is our model, and you can see that, well, it kind of gives you a good result, but it's kind of weird over here, you know. Let's just try it anyway. Let's just do a quick little bake, and then we can fix whatever if we feel to. Well, the first thing I do is I bring in and I do like just a normal map, and I do like a very low res, so it's kind of fast, maybe a little bit of anti-aliasing, and 0.02 just to increase the cage thing. And I look and see for, and I look for mistakes, like for issues with the baking. But you can see it's already giving me a pretty nice bake. Something that did not happen when I did just purely ZBrush. See, so, okay. Of course it's fairly low res, but I feel we can get away with this actually. Let's just do like the bake. So 2K for now, and I want to do everything. So if we bake this, in this case, we're gonna get what Substance calls mesh maps, right? And mesh maps will help you texture. You can see especially the curvature map in this case, because I want to have some like cool highlights to the to the texture. And this is our mesh with the texture maps. And now on the layers, I have my own smart material that I created in Painter. And there it is, stylized. It's just basically an edge highlight thing. And I took the substance material that 3X does on this course, and then I made it my own with some slope blurs here and there. But I want to change this color basically, so I go to base, change that color over there. Oh, also one of the things I usually do is I go over here and activate my Unreal Engine color LUT, so it kind of looks like what it would look like in Unreal, right? And then I want to change this to something more of a grayish, so less saturated, and bluish kind of. I'm just going to copy this just in case. And this is going to be, whoops, kind of in the same range, but less saturated. Right? This base is too light. There we go. Cavities as well. It's just cavities actually can be fairly saturated. Not that much, but it can be fairly saturated and dark. Let's go over to mask and see what this mask is doing. Alright, cool. It's giving us that little punch over there. And now we're gonna go to edge highlights, and this is literally just a shift in hue. I'm gonna do something like this and less saturated. This is our low poly mesh, right, that we had in ZBrush. So if you look at the poly count, for example, here in Maya, I just do bring it into Maya. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. There it is, okay. And if you bring it into Maya, you can see it's just 1,300 triangles, which is great, actually. So this is 1,000 triangles, and it's giving you all that detail because that's a texture, right? For those of you who are not familiar with the process, of course. You can see there's still some issues there. The topology is just not correctly fitting the whole thing, you know? So the retopology could definitely be better. Especially here, you can see there's just not enough geometry there. The rest of the mesh, I think it kind of works, but again, it gives you this skewing of the texture there, and the silhouettes should have matched that. So that's an issue that we can fix later down the pipe. So we can go back and do that. I'm not going to do that on stream. You can see basically I get like this very colorful sort of purplish rock. This AO actually could be like literally purple instead of red. Maybe less purple and more into like the blue-ish purple, like violet. And the variation as well could be, this is just a light thing. Could be very warm, so you get like the warm contrast, like this orange. So you get like a warm section. Yeah, but you can see what's going on over here. We get like our rock kind of working. It has too much information for my taste, so I might as well just do like this space could be. Space could be maybe light, but or maybe more saturated. Something like that, right? We could also control the edges mask. So if I go to mask, all of that's going to be edges. So I want to do maybe is we can get, you see we're getting like some of that stretching over there, which is not ideal because this is because of the clay polish on the high poly. We should have done a like maybe a Dynamesh and then just project everything. So, or maybe ZBrush. Because then you're gonna, this is gonna come through, like all those stretchings and all that we don't want. So, yeah, but this is the gist of it. And then you can just bring this into the engine. I'm gonna do that anyway, so. In this case, the scale is fine for our rock. So let's go and center our pivot. Actually, I prefer to just copy this and have like a separate group here that's called baking. This is just the meshes for the bake, and this is our final mesh. And for our final mesh, I want to center pivot, and I want to bring this over here to the center, and I'm going to triangulate. Where's triangulate? Triangulate, there it is. So it's a little bit more controlled, and if we do like bit of an edge like that, and now let's just check the UVs for a second. Yeah, whatever, just for showcasing purposes. So in this case, our mesh is gonna get out exported as the static mesh, like the final. So I'm gonna call this SM underscore rock 1. This is our first rock, and we're gonna export this. Live, not correct folder, and I'm gonna call this, whoops, SM underscore rock 1. SM is usually like the naming convention in Unreal. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So now go back to Unreal and let's check it. One of the other things you want to do is when you export all the textures, let's just save this in ZBrush Live thing. Let's call this Rock 1. Rocks, actually, because I want to texture everything the same project. I don't want to do like a project per model. And we're going to import this. It's taking forever. Unreal has been giving me some issues in this machine. The AMD card is somewhat giving me some issues with DirectX, but I'm hoping it doesn't break the stream. Yeah, there it is. Stylize the environment. I'm going to try to get this to... When I export the textures, I'm going to export the textures. I'm going to try to restore. It's not going to let me. Yeah, there's no source control. I have like my own template for exporting textures here. And my template at the moment is this one. UE5 ARM texture set. So I call them the name of the texture set, which I'm going to call Rock 1. Here there's the base color, normal, and then the ambient occlusion, roughness, and matte all get packed into the same sort of map. So I'm going to do that. UE5 ARM texture sets, save settings, and I'm gonna change this name to, I should have changed the name of the mesh, it would have been easier, or the material, rock 1, and let's just export the textures, export them to our slide file, let's call these textures. And export, done. And now in our Unreal project, we have like in the textures, we're gonna make this all neat and tidy, rocks, and I'm gonna bring those textures in. There it is, Targa, and there they are. This is our textures over here. And another thing now, we have the master materials for the props, and we're gonna bring in the mesh as well. So cliffs, this is just a block out cliff, but let's see. Where did I export that to? Oh, did I export that? I didn't. Yeah, I did. So I'm gonna call this SM Rock, export SM Rock. It's there. Where's the SM Rock? Oh, there it is. Okay. Bring that over. Hello? It's not importing. Ah, there you go. Yeah, I don't need this material, so this material is going to go away. What I need is the master material. To have an instance. So create a material instance. MI rock 1. Whoops. And I'm gonna bring that to instances to keep everything neat and tidy. I'm gonna go to the rock and apply that instance to the rock. And we can just bring one of those rocks in just so we see how it looks in the lighting. Well, this is just it's the wrong textures, obviously. But it's cool that we can still get away with those because of the seams. You can barely notice, right? It's a tileable texture, and you can barely notice the seams because the cuts were nicely done. So there's no, like, well, there's one there, but I mean, if you're just using it to clip through, and we could do like triplanar projection as well. Triplanar projections are cool for this kind of stuff, for like detail maps and stuff like that. But in this case, we're gonna go and plug in our textures. So I'm gonna plug the BC. Actually, before that, go to IRM and you want to turn off the sRGB. You want this to be linear, and you want to check for the compression on each texture. This is default. It should be masks, but it's fine. Default. And then the normal map, we want to check if dark text. Yeah, okay, there it is. So now go to your rock, and ARM should be there, base color should be there, and normal should be there, there. And now there's your model. Of course, this lighting doesn't help because it's too dim, and the normal is inverted for some reason. It's supposed to be direct text, so must be a setting that I have on. When I import, it flips the green channel. Where's the green channel? You go over here to texture, advanced, and there's flip green channel. And now it's working. You can see the before and after. So you go over here. This is how it imported. This is how it should be, right? Cool. So now let me just tweak the lighting a little bit because this lighting is horrible. Let me go over to, where's the lighting? So directional light. There's 2 directional lines. Oh, right, I remember. It's a fill light. I want this to be like 2. Try like 5. There we go. Just for preview purposes, and let's go for exponential height fog. And let's do volumetric fog. And also the directional light should be a little lower. This directional light shouldn't be affecting the colors though. Atmospheric sun and light. I turn this on as, let me just go check what is going on here. Sky atmosphere, I don't want sky atmosphere for now. Or maybe I do. Why is that? It's not casting the shadow part away. Whatever. Okay, so I want to put this correct. And now the cool thing about this is that you can start assembling your level. Whoops. Skilled it. You can start assembling your level. Instead of using those blockout meshes, right? So that's the whole point of getting something out of ZBrush. You could do this with the decimation just to get something real quick to assemble your level in Unreal, and then just have your decimated mesh replaced later down the pipe. So that's also one thing that you can do. You can see like the fact that I have not a lot of color information, it's a little blurry because it's a big asset, right? So we want to have the base color to be as clean as possible, and then what we want is actually to get a breakup color texture, right? So I have one that I kind of assembled here. Where is it? Okay. Asset production, source images. There it is. Color breakup. Yeah, color variation. There it is. It's just a PNG texture that it's basically, you bring that into Photoshop and you just do some paint strokes here and there, right? And one of the cool things about this is not only can you do that, but you can also have like detail maps, right? So I have a couple of them too that I made in ZBrush just with a plane, you know, just tile level texture. Not even tile level texture, it's just a decal, right? There's something like this with the orb brushes, and then something like this with more orb brushes. And now what we can do is we can start creating our detail map section. So what we want to do is we want to get a blend normal angle, no, what was it called? Angle corrected normals. Yeah, blend angle corrected normals. There it is. And we want to get a copy of this. Let's call this detail map. And we have like our tiling over here, but we're gonna do a different way. Should do this triplanar though. That's gonna take a little bit of time, and I don't have much time, so might as well just do the detail map over here and just bring in that color variation texture as well, and just apply a different tiling. So let's go there, do like detail tiling for now, right? I'm gonna multiply the base. Actually, no, we can do this separately. So multiply that by that. And we're gonna add a named reroute. I'm gonna call this detail tile. Right. And now I can bring that over. Detail tiling. And we could even have something for the distance, so we're gonna do what was it called? Jesus, distance blend, that's it. Distance blend. There it is. And we're gonna have another copy of this, and we're gonna have a far tiling. So I wanna have maybe a copy of this and detail far. Just copy this. And we're gonna do no, we're gonna do it separately as well. It's gonna be very simple. Just multiply a few parameters. Detail tiling. Ah, come on. Too lazy to type. Go. Detail far tiling, distance blend, and we're gonna lerp between A and B and alpha, and we're gonna do one of these on top of that. I don't know if you remembered, but we created this on like our first stream to do to control the intensity. So we're going to control the intensity of the detail itself. That's kind of important. So, and I'm being a little dirty on my nodes, I know, but it's just first pass, let's say. So let's call this detail intensity. Default should be set to 1. And now this is additional, and this is our base normal, and normal should be plugged in here. And now the distance blend is something that it kind of depends, right? So we're gonna do a named reroute here, and we're gonna call this test. And we're gonna make material attributes. We're gonna plug this into our emissive. Actually, no, we're gonna plug this over here, and this is gonna be plugged in here. Think. No, actually, yeah, I was right. Let's just do this. This should be test. Come on. Yeah, there we go. And now we're gonna make this material use material attributes, and we're gonna bring in the test. And it's just gonna test out that distance blend. So the blend range is basically the fall off of the distance thing, the lerp. and the start offset is the distance at which it switches the texture. So we're going to promote this to a parameter, and it's going to be called start offset. I'm going to maybe create a category here for detail maps, and the default should be set to -1000. The blend range, you can see that there, right? Blend range is set by default to 100. And now we're gonna save this and we're gonna check it in our level. So it's black, and you can see it as you move the camera closer, it turns to white. So this is basically a mask, right? Based on the distance. You can see it over there, you know. So we're gonna tweak the fall off, in this case the blend range, to be maybe a little more like towards like maybe the 2000. So we get like this nice fade as we move closer. And we want something that only starts populating it like as you get like this close, right? So we're gonna change the start offset to be closer to the camera. So it's the far detail is gonna be this one, and the close detail is gonna be this one, right? So now we can test it out with the actual thingy. And we basically just change this and save. And now the detail maps by default are not the correct ones, but we can change that on our instance, right? So we have like one of these rock details. Let's just plug that in. And you can see the detail, the tiling of that. Where's the tiling? Detail tiling. You can see what it's doing. You can see what it's doing. It's giving you like granular detail over there, right? Let me just make this a little bigger. So it has like your overall like normal maps, and then as you move closer, you can see it shifting. So detail normal, and then you have like detail far tiling, which should be fairly big. Ah, it's not changing. Detail far. Is that detail far? Did I switch? If I did, it's just a matter of. Let's go detail far. No. Detail intensity. Let's put it like 5, like a ridiculous, not 5, but like 2. It's a ridiculous amount. Huh? It's not doing anything. For some fucked up reason. It is doing it over there though. Let me make this like big. Ah, there it is. Okay, so we need this to be smaller, like 0.2 or maybe 1. Right, make this intensity. That's like the far tiling. There it is. Something like that, right? And then as you move closer, you get like that granularity. Now the cool thing is that we need to do the same thing for the color, otherwise it's gonna look blurry anyway. So for now, let's just go over and do like a duplicate or add. Maybe let's just add. let's add that texture. Where's that texture? There it is. Just for now, so we can, and we can have like the color breakup be controlled, you know, like control like the hue, saturation of that, like via materials, right? So let me just, oh, come on, it doesn't allow me to. So I'm gonna call this, actually let me just copy these and plug those in, and then I actually don't need a tint, so I can have like this be like completely white. And then this could be detail. Just copy this. Paste it. There we go. Just so it's a little more organized. Something like that. Right, and now I'm gonna add this to when it's false, right? So I'm gonna do this, and when it's false, it's the result of that. When it's true, it's just a flat color. Right, it's just flat texture, no, actually no textures. So something like this. Push this out. Usually my color nodes are the ones that take the most space. Let's just try it. I think it's the best way to go about it is to try it. All right, so if I add, this is what happens, right? That makes sense because it's clipping the colors. So especially if you have a tint there. But so instead of adding, what we're gonna do is we're gonna overlay, blend overlay. So base is that one, and the overlay is this one. Well, let's try it again. It's giving me this weird. Yeah, okay. So I get some of that. And now what we want is we want to go over to our parameters over here, and we want to start getting in that brightness of our oh, another thing that's important, I forgot. It's the detail tiling. Detail tiling over there, and we could do the same system as for the normal maps, right? That's the tiling texture, so you can see what's going on now. It's using that detail tiling thing. So we're gonna do the brightness here, but then the brightness in the detail is gonna be maybe the saturation in detail. Where's the saturation? The detail saturation should go down, but the contrast detail should go up. Then you need to up the brightness and the contrast detail. I get it, because we're overlaying. So let me just do the same method that I always use, which is multiply, because this is doing some weird shenanigans here, you know. Yeah, this is an overlay. It's like Photoshop, right? So let's just multiply it and then tweak the parameters as we see fit. Right. So brightness up to like 9. Brightness of the detail should be like 1. Contrast of the detail should be very high as well. And then the saturation should go down, so you get only that little bit of like splash, right? Of course, this is not ideal because this is still fairly limited, right? So you need to have like control over this, control over the triplanar projection, maybe do like a little triplanar. But it hides the blurriness of that texture. So you can see now that it has a lot of, let me just do like 3 here, and then up the brightness. It adds a lot of like that granularity, and it hides the blurriness, right? So let me just dull the contrast actually to like 1, then the brightness. And this is what they use in Sea of Thieves. I know it's something of the sort. It's like a very basic bake with some edge highlights, and then you get all the detail using a triplanar projection and object based. And even this is how they do it, right? Because now if I just scale this up, let's say I have like huge rock, you can see like the normal map gets blurry, but this, you know, I can just control this. I can control the tiling of the granularity of it, you know? Even though it's a huge rock, I can get away with getting that that tiling there. You can see what's happening there. Get some granularity in place. Yeah. Just check that. There we go. It's negative. Shouldn't be negative. There it is. Yeah. So there it is. That's kind of my workflow for bringing in stuff, and there's more that I could do in the shader. We could do it on stream. But for now, I'm just focusing on building all those rocks, just doing like quick remeshing and then building the level. And we're gonna do our hero prop, which I'm thinking if I should actually have the sword, or maybe do like a skull or something, like a skull door on the back. I like skulls. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah. And we can even add some water effects and stuff like that, or maybe some foliage. That could be cool, like some grass and whatever, like on this platform. And one of the cool things that we can do using this method is we can actually get like a little bit of a fixed idea, just to get an idea of what's going to happen to this once we're set in stone. Ha, get it? So you can have a pretty basic understanding of what's going to happen here. So just put this at 1. And rotate this back. And this is just, keep in mind, this is like block out level of detail, right? So we're using this to block out, but ideally we would have like different meshes and all of that. So we can hide this for now and just have like a little bit of a variation there, like some cliffs, like some rock shapes doing all the variation for us. Just, it's the same rock shape, it's just rotated around, and you won't be able to tell it's the same shape. So you can do something like this maybe. Like that. Yeah. Of course, they are huge for like a staircase, right? But it kind of works. Like if you look at the scale of the human model, it kind of does the job. You can do something like that. Then we have like our small little formation. And now we can replace those ugly blockout meshes, just to replace them, right? Because we want to have something that's a little cleaner. So I'm gonna delete that actually. I'm gonna make one of those formations myself. So that's the whole point of having like a very generic kind of rock, because this is not that generic. So we might as well have made a more generic rock. And now we can do this. We can flip it through. The lighting is still throwing me off a little bit. This is not how it's supposed to look in my head. But we can fix that later. House cleaning here. Do something like this. Something like that. I like those kind of fake layers. So now we can actually do so we can do the same thing, just copy these over here, and then just rotate them around. Just get rid of that ugly can rotate this too. Sure, we have a little bit of variation. So they don't look exactly the same, you know? I'm gonna have some extra models there. And I like how the way it looks like it's sweeping, like on this side, right? It looks like it's kind of sweeping. So, yeah. And now we can actually go to our exponential height fog, because this is killing me. This whole thing is fog density. There it is. And fog color. Volumetric fog. Those. Where's the lighting? I should have like a folder for the lighting. This actually should be on its own, its own separate sub-level, which it is, but sky atmosphere, that is it. And no skylight, I think that's the problem. If there's no skylight, exponential high fog doesn't work. So if I go sky, oh, there it is, skyline. Oh, scalability is set to medium. I know it's gonna crash, don't tell me. Preparing shaders. Some volumetrics going on over there. Still preparing the shaders. Skylight is waiting for shaders for final capture. Yeah, but that's about it. I just wanted to show you guys like how I bring stuff from ZBrush to Substance, Substance to Unreal, and then tweak the materials, and the final look is going to be set in Unreal. And if I retexture this, it's just a matter of re-importing these textures, and it updates everything on the fly. This is ugly as fuck, but don't care about that. You can hide that with more rocks over there, like that. You know, just do this and do this. There it is. I mean, my CPU is pretty powerful. It's capturing the shaders, but it's taking a little bit longer. I mean, this is still needs like those cliff kind of rocks that are happening in ZBrush, that the ones that I started modeling on ZBrush Live, and then it's gonna start coming together. Also, like the walls, that's pretty important, like the actual architecture of the level, and then we need to start art directing this, because it kind of looks ugly. Still looks ugly. So we should fix that, right? But the lighting is everything. So if the lighting is not working properly on our favor, then nothing's gonna work. So I'm gonna do that probably off stream, because it's boring. I mean, lighting is just testing stuff. It's like rendering, right? Who wants to see a stream on rendering? That's insane, right? It's just back and forth, pushing sliders and testing stuff. That's not going to be on stream. So I'm going to figure that out, figure the lighting out, and then when we come back to this in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go and show you how to make this look kind of nifty, even though we have like just a couple of models, right? Next week we're going to go and do the tileable textures in ZBrush, on ZBrush Live. If you guys want to stay tuned to ZBrush Live on their official YouTube channel, Twitch, Facebook, and all the other socials that they have, and just keep that in mind that Saturday 1:30 p.m. my time, so it's like London time, you're gonna see how I do tileable textures and trim sheets in ZBrush, so I can bring them over here and start making the actual modular meshes for the architecture and stuff like that, right? And that's gonna be pretty cool, because that's gonna add a lot of flair to this. This is still looking, you know, kind of bland. It's just a single rocked model. all over the place, you know. And then the detail map is kind of not working yet the way I intend to. So we have this going. And keep this in mind that usually these are, well, today it's an exception. It's been 3 hours and a half. But usually I do this full time, and the streams have been like 2 hours each stream. So all these models were done like on 2 hour streams, which is like not a lot of time to do this, right? So in total I would say I have like what, 12 hours of work put into this, like 12, 14 hours maybe, like 2 days work, you know, 2 full-time days. So it's not bad, but I mean, I know I could be faster than this and just chilling. So there we go. I mean, I'm on a rush every day during the week because deadlines and stuff like that at the studio. So might as well just take a chill pill and relax on stream. And yeah, we have our little environment starting to come together. Let's go and just see what's going on over here. Why is this not affecting exponential light fog as volumetrics? But let's just set these to default. And now fog density should be, there it is. No volumetric fog. And the density. It's because it has 2 directional lights. Maybe it is. Yeah, so this is, you can see there's some issues here with the lighting for some reason. There's the fog. There we go. There we go. And yeah, and the start, the cut off distance should be like 1. There we go. And now we can change this to our like bluish kind of color, and then turn on our directional light. That's way better. Now that gives us the skylight is still kind of not doing anything. Real-time capture, intensity, like it's just not doing anything. It should though. Skylight with real-time capture requires sky atmosphere component. Okay, there's your sky atmosphere. Okay, there it is. Real-time capture requires a sky atmosphere. That makes sense. So sky distance threshold, let's reduce that, and the intensity should be lowered to like maybe like 5. So there's just a little bit of bleeding there. And exponential high fog, you can maybe make this dark blue. We can make the skylight kind of like warmish. Have it like a lot of power. Just to check the color. That, and then the intensity should be like it doesn't work. Yeah, but you can see what's going on. It's basically like a couple of colors here and there, and then just tweaking the light intensity as well. This is too intense, so I might as well just push this down to like 3 like we had before. There we go. Maybe this could be like 1. And now the sky atmosphere as well, like ground radius, atmospheric height. This is going to go away, isn't doing anything. Turn off real-time capture. There we go. We can add some point lights as well. Let me just add a few like point lights. And attenuation radius. Should be something like intensity should be pretty low. Specular. Where's the specular scale? Should be set to 0. Intensity. Have some reds. So you get some little tints here and there. Of course, this is still like, because we still have like the whiteness of all of this, right? Because otherwise it's not doing anything here on this shadow, because this rock is like dark. So one other thing we could do is just go over to our material and up the brightness even more. Because if we up the brightness, you can start seeing something coming through, right? So it might be something like that. The texture itself is kind of bright, but for some reason here, like the light is just not capturing all that intensity. So you work with what you have. I'll just move the actors to this. Some splashes of like actual purple. You get something like this, right? There we go. Alright guys, so I'm gonna leave here. It's already like 5:30. I need to leave, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a very slow stream because I'm a little slow. I'm tired today. So we did a lot of retopology, tweaking. We finalized this model and made some texturing, like very basic texturing with the smart material that I had made before, and assembled, kind of replaced a few of the models here on the scene so we get a better understanding of what this looks like. And that's basically it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next weekend on ZBrush Live. Don't forget to follow me on socials, and don't forget to get on the server, the Discord server. I'm gonna paste it again on chat so you guys have access to it, and I hope I see you guys next time, and peace. Have a good weekend.